Hello everyone. So in this video I'm going to talk about implicit intents, and just in case you don't know about intents or the classification of intents, then you should watch my previous video, and there I explained what intents are and how to I also explained that there are two kinds of intents, and I also showed how to use one of them. I will explain the concept here again because this is kind of important, and you need to understand. I need to explain it to explain what implicit intents are. So intents is a class that is used to fire up, or that is used to start activities, and we use these intents to go from one activity to another activity. For example, in case you had two activities here, and in my last video I also showed how to create extra activities, more activities. So let's say you had more activities here, and you wanted to go from this activity to another activity. So I showed that we do that using intents. We do that using intents. Now I said in my previous video that there are two kinds of intents. One is explicit intent and the other one is implicit intent, and I explained in my previous video also that explicit intents are intents that that is used when you know in which activity you are and to which activity you want to go. For example, if you had, let's say, 10 activities here, and you are in your first activity, main activity, and you want to, or maybe if you are in your third activity, it doesn't really matter in which activity you are, but you know that you are in a certain activity and you know which activity it is. Like for example, here let's say I am in my first activity or second activity. I know I am in my first activity, right? Or I will know I am in my second activity. Now I know where I am. Now if I also know that where I want to go, like maybe my 10th activity, 9th activity, then we are going to use explicit intent, and I showed exactly how to use it using code practically in my last video. So in case you want to know that, go there. Now in this video I'm going to show talk about the other kind of intents, that is implicit intents. Now what are implicit intents? See, implicit intents are intents that we use when we don't know where we want to go. We just know what we want to do. Alright, and in most cases implicit intents are intents that we use to activate activities from other applications inside your Android device. Now you might be confused right now. See, for example, you are here in your main activity, and you want to make a call. Now for example, your application doesn't know how to make a call. Alright, so but you want to make a call. Now you can send a implicit intent to your Android system, telling it that you want to make a call. And what your Android system will do when you say that, I will explain how exactly we do that using code, but let me just clarify the theory here. So when you do that, when you send a message to your Android system telling it that, okay, my Android system, I want to make a call, then what your Android system does is that it searches for activities that can make a call. Alright, that can make a call. Alright, or maybe you want to visit a website, but your application itself, maybe your application has the function or doesn't have the function, and you don't know which activity in your Android system, be it within your application or in some other application, you don't know in which activity you can visit a website. You don't know that. In that case, what you do, you just create a intent that has the ability to tell the Android system that, okay, Android system, I want to visit a website. And then what your Android system does is that it will look for activities in your application also and in other applications also in the Android device, in the whole Android device, and you will find U1 that can perform the action that you wanted to do. Now this is the application of implicit intent. That is when you don't know how to where to go, but you just know what to do. Now one thing I want to point out is that when you want to make a call, you actually have, you are telling the Android system that I want to make a call, but your Android system doesn't know to which number you want to call, right? So when you make that message, when you make this message that tells the Android system to search for a activity that will make the call, you also have to give the Android system the number that you want to make the call to. Or maybe you want to go to a website, and in that case you also have to give the Android system the address of the website. So this is how it works. What we do is that we create a certain kind of intent, and inside that we give the action that we want to perform. I will show you how to do that. And also we give the information that is required to perform that action. For example, the number when you want to make the phone call. Anyway, so here I will show three of them. One is how to find a activity that can search the wave, make a call using this button, and I will show you about geometric location also, like how to find an app that can how to find activity that can locate some geometrical position on a map for you. Now these are three buttons, and here are the XML files, and I have also created three methods that will respond when you press these buttons. In case you don't know how to make your buttons interactive, then maybe you should watch watch my other videos on how to make a button interactive. Alright, so when I press this call method, call button, the code inside here will run, execute. So here what we are going to do is that let me just write it, and then I will explain what everything are. URI dot tell 01817067327. intent equal to new intent, and intent action dial, and then URI, and start activity intent. Now let me explain what I just did. You see, I told you that when we want to create a action, we also have to give the data on which you work, right? On which you perform that action. Now this is the line where we are creating that data. See, this is a phone number, and see, URI here is a class. URI is a class that it is an abstract class, and URI stands for Uniform Resource Identifier. Now what are Uniform Resource Identifier? Well, it will take a long time to explain it. I would rather give a link to a video that will explain it, and there is this guy on the YouTube who explained it really perfectly. For now, understand that this is a class here, and in this class what you do is that you save the data on that you want to use, that you want to send along with your action, so that the computer know on which data you want to perform the action, right? Now here I gave tell. Now this thing here is something that needs to be explained, and I will explain it in a bit. For now, just be patient and understand at least just what I have said, and I will explain it even more. But for now, just understand that this line here, it creates the data, and this is the telephone number that we want to work on. Now in here, what we did is that since we don't know to which activity we want to go, what we did, we just created a action. We just created a action, like, you know, there are predefined actions inside this intent class, and we are accessing that those actions, predefined constants. Actually, there are predefined constants inside your intent class, like this one, action dial. There are other ones like action send, action call, action view. There are other ones, and these constants are I mean, your Android system recognizes these constants because these are predefined constants inside your intent class. Now this action dial means that you want to dial a number. Alright, and here you just gave the number that on which you want to dial. Now before I run, and then what you did is that start activity and then intent. Now before I actually show it on my emulator, I will do something else also, so that you understand why we used URI and why we used this tell thing, and how did it happen that this tell was ignored and this number was accepted. How did that happen? So let me just copy this here and paste it here. And but see, in this case we want to visit a website, right? So we don't really want a number, we want a let's say this, we enter and then here, instead of using a view. Now let me explain what's going on. You see, this action dial, action send, and all these predefined methods, they are really difficult to remember. So what we do actually is that we use one that can work for everything. Like we use this action view constant, and this action view constant works with everything. Like we could actually give action view here. You will see I would use action view here because I don't actually specifically give action then something related to geo. I don't even know what's that, because you don't even know, you don't have to, you can just use this action view action and it will work with everything. But the problem is that when you are using this action view, what happens is that how does your computer know what type of data you gave it, right? See, that is where something called data scheming comes into play. Now what happens, data scheming happens here. What happens is that inside the URI, see, URI.parse, when you are converting this data, this line into a URI object, your URI class knows that this section here, HTTP, is different from this section here, tell. And if we are going to create a different one here, this section that tell HTTP, here there will be a different one called GEO. Let me just show you. Copy. So okay, see, here we are not going to use HTTP or tell. What we are going to use is geo, and do we have a geo value Android? It's just I am not very familiar with geometrical locations, or values, so let's just take on from here. I mean, I don't know how to write a geometrical location, right? I mean, there are these longitudes and latitudes, and see. All right, we have found one. So see, this is the geometrical location, right? This is the geometrical location. How about this? How do we create just the whole thing, copy, and we just paste it here, because that is going to save time. See, as you can see here, copy and just paste this value. As you can see here, this geo thing here is different. This HTTP thing, and I have told many times that this is different. Now this is how your intent know what to do with the action. And once you have done that, then you just start the activity. Now this is good to go, and let's just run it on the emulator. Alright everyone, so the emulator is up and running, and I paused the video as usual because it takes too much time. Anyway, so see, here is the code that we created to look for specific actions, and here we said that make a call. We gave the number here also, and now let's just find let's just press it. And as you can see, when I pressed it, you'll see it took the it looked for a application that could perform the action, and see this is the number that we provided it. This is the number. So let's just get back, and let's go for a website. See, there are two. It looked for activities that can search for a website, because we gave it a website address. Now whenever there are two or more, it will ask you, but when there isn't, it will directly go. Just for a few seconds ago you saw that when we use the call button, then it didn't ask where to go. It went directly, but in this case it is asking. Now let's just use geo and see what happens. See, we used geo and we gave it a geometrical location here, and it went straight to Google Maps, because that is the app which has the activities to work with geometrical locations. And so that's how you do it. And thank you. This has been a very long video. I hope it works for you, and all the best.